この動画ではタイトルの通り世界でも最大級のローンチパッドでもある DAO メーカーの社長のクリスさんに話を聞いてきたので、その後半の動画になります。前半はコインクラブジャパンで、そもそも DAO メーカーとはどういう風な仕組みなのかみたいな話を聞いていたりとかしていて、後半ではそのパフォーマンスはどれぐらいのリターンがあるのかとかね、そういったところも聞いてきているので、ぜひ最後まで見てみてください。ではどうぞ。So you mentioned initially about the performance and those the project that's launched on your platform has been such a successful in terms of every metrics, right? Mm-hmm. And can you maybe touch on that?
We evaluate when we look into success cases. We try to see, okay, what is for the next 1 year? How do we determine success? And that can be very much based on the market conditions. Now, one of the main criteria, which is always important to us, is trading volume. Because a coin that has no liquidity or trading volume with a 1 billion market cap is not a 1 billion market cap coin. So if I can crash $1 billion market cap coin to $500 million with $100,000, it's not really true. So in terms of this trading volume liquidity, we're completely dominating everybody else. I think we are more than 2x higher than the second contester.
Oh, wow.
So that's all. And people do not really consider trading volume important because it's not shiny. Right? They want all-time high current, not even current ROI. So the next important thing for us is average current ROI, so that we can see, okay, what's the average current ROI for our project? Then delivery of our projects, and I guess all-time high ROI 1.5 years after we launch. So we've been doing this for a long time. As I mentioned, I've been doing this for 4.5 years. The company exists for 3. In those 3 years, we listed some very famous companies. We helped them, such as, for example, Elrond Network, it's top 20.
Yep.
Ecomi, maybe people know it. Omi, it's the best-selling NFT platform. Mm-hmm. We were built in the community for Avalanche. So, and many, many more. Today was the last distribution of Orion protocol. So for us, it's very, very important that the companies 1.5 years later are very successful. We don't really care so much about the opening all-time high. I think it's very unhealthy for a project. Our main goal is to build the entire crypto industry.
That's really good, a good thing to hear, I think, from investors' perspective, because you're not in this initial pump and selling in the behind the scene kind of launchpad too, right? You're in the long game and helping the project to be successful.
And it's very important to understand that the token business also is based on the long term of it. And I want to go 1 minute into that, what that means.
Yeah, please.
When you win a sale on DAO Maker using DAO tokens, so if you're a premium user, then you can actually not unlock your DAO tokens, or you will lose all future vested tokens. So as long as you're going to get vested tokens, you have to hold your DAO tokens. So consider the projects that come on our platform as yield, staking rewards. And instead of giving the users the entire staking rewards up front, we say, if this is a 2-year vesting, you got to hold DAO. And if you sell your DAO, move your DAO, then these future vesting protocols will go to everybody who didn't sell. So we really make sure that we marry ourselves for the longevity to our projects.
That's why the strongholder offering.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally, that's what it means.
Because if you're not a stronghold offering, you're not gonna get the offering.
Yeah, exactly. I love the name, by the way. So it's I think I'm curious about. I think people who are watching this, might be curious about what is your vetting processes and due diligence. Yeah. And obviously, you've launched so many good ones. What are the things that you're looking for?
Sure. So nobody is perfect. We also launched a fair amount of bad ones, but we try to learn. What we're trying to look for, the number one and most important thing, is always what's the founder's stand on the token itself. Because if the team is as good as they want, if the founder doesn't give a shit about the token, it's a bad investment. It's a bad purchase, right? So that's very important. And we try to identify, that's our main goal as a company, try to protect the secondary market from rug pulls. Some of our projects haven't been great, but none of our projects is exit scammed because we kind of vet them. We see who are the people behind them. the next most important thing is we tend to do most of the stuff ourselves that matter, because then they are good by definition. We don't do due diligence. We don't find good coins. We make good coins. That's what a lot of people misunderstand, right? We take them from zero on. We find good people, and then we make these people into good coins. When we find existing projects that have already a metrics, cap table, etc., they usually underperform the ones that we take from pre-seed stage.
I see. So basically, because of those experience in data that you have, so you know what kind of tokenomics could work in this in certain case or not, all those things, right?
Well, what we try to do is we try to make a strategy thesis for the next 1 year, and we try to prepare this. So each coin, the correct term is fiscal policy.
Yeah.
Right? People disagree currently with the U.S. fiscal policy. It's very much inflation based. So each company, depending on how they are, what their product is, how far they are away from their product market fit, has a different fiscal policy. And creating the correct fiscal policy for each coin probably makes 50% of success. So if you go to DAO Maker and you see our homepage, and you can, every single page has this little card and it says screening. And screening has 4 aspects to it. Now it's like super narrow, right? So if you press research, you get a much more in-depth overview. But screening shows the 4 most important things that we believe have impact on a short to medium term purchase. There's a lead investor, because the lead investor should be the one with the most experience that can help the companies hold their hands. The market making, the metrics, so the fiscal policies, and the cap table. So these are the other purchases of the token, the private sale. Depending on these 4 terms, we are able to assess these 4 terms, and the fully diluted valuation, which is very important, probably allow us to take a quick approach, be like yes or no. If we see something that we say yes, we have a call with the founders, we try to identify who are these people, we do some minor background checks on them, so there's no CFO situation. And then we move forward, we have negotiations, and if it's an early stage, we agree to working together. If it's a late stage, we see, is this project good for our community or not?
Wow. I mean, by just hearing that, like, I think a lot of people who are watching this have no clue, like, how much work actually you put in before actually put the project in a launch. But so how many projects have you launched before at this point? Do you have?
I think in 2021 it was 73.
Oh wow!
In total, we used to do less, but the ones we did were really bangers. We did some really good ones. So I think we have slightly below 100.
Oh wow, that's very cool. So you mentioned about one of the metrics was like average ROI. And what is like average ROI look like now?
Now we'll have to check, but okay. I think let me check right now. Why not?
Cool.
Give me 1 minute.
Sure.
So average ROI after the bloodbath. So average ROI is currently, depending on which coins you include, 670%.
Oh wow, that's pretty good. That's amazing.
It's okay. If for having 73 coins launched.
Yeah, I mean that kind of shows like people, the stability of your performance, right?
But I guess one thing that is important to note. This is the average ROI if you take every single project and keep the raise identical. We have our actual average ROI, which is adjusted to the raise size, is much higher because we had multiple $1 million raises. The raises that we did, which are very big, are actually performing really well. So we did a $1 million raise for XCAD I think that's standing at 55x. We did 1.2 million raise for Oculus. That's standing at like a 20 something x. We did so. Our biggest raises number of protocols are always in the higher level.
Yeah.
Because we say, okay, this is really good. We're gonna put a lot of money on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was closely, watching the XCAT. That was a crazy one. So I guess because you're the pro in terms of what kind of project would be performing well and all those things. And I think some people might be wondering, okay, what kind of sectors that you are looking you see there's a huge potential. For example, there's a DeFi, NFT, now there's a gaming and DAO and all these things, right? Mm-hmm. Is there a certain thing that you area that you are kind of looking closely or expected to kind of grow as a sector?
Sure. So you always have to identify what do people want to know. Majority of people want to know is the very short term. The very short term is obviously purely depending on the market trend, which is currently metaverses.
Yeah.
When it comes to long-term stuff, what you can look at is what was very hot 2.5 years ago is going to do really well again. Because 2.5 years ago, a lot of money flew into it and a lot of intelligent people started moving into it, understand it, and now starting to build really good stuff.
Yeah.
So if metaverse is very hot right now, then they're going to execute very well in 2 to 3 years from now. That's what it's going to take to build a good company. I think the next trend, as long as it's going to be, could be social tokens.
Social token.
Right, so social media tokens. And the reason I believe that is because a lot of the metaverse players do not have the necessary user base to commit to a 3-dimensional avatar in the world. But they're absolutely willing to commit to a chat room.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So do you think that's going to be the trend for this year, and those are maybe the one that?
Well, I don't want to generally talk about the macro level of the market.
Yeah, sure.
So I believe that this is something we are moving into next.
Yeah.
Where we see it. So what else? Then DeFi. I believe a good amount of DeFi will come growing now. We are also moving slightly into DeFi. We want to call it the next product could be venture farming. It's a mix between DeFi and secondary market investing.
Oh, interesting. Wow, cool. And because I realize, time is kind of pushing. So I kind of wanted to kind of get into the roadmap. And a lot of people might be wondering, what's going to come for the project. And maybe can you touch on some of the milestones that you're kind of seeing?
Yeah, sure. So we like to innovate, and the latest project was the freemium version. I'm scaling up on that. We are going to bring out new UI and new user base. Conversion funnels are very important, so this is the smaller stuff. Then we're going to have hopefully very, very big announcement next week, maybe in 2 weeks. So a new market sector for us to come in.
Oh, wow.
I think it's going to make a lot of waves. Can't really say much about it yet. The second, and then we're also going to diversify ourselves into providing products that not only invest into the primary market, but also into the secondary market. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of opportunities of projects that have dumped a lot, prices down a lot.
Yeah.
But they have been building and they have a lot of funding, and people are very scared, right? The market is quite bearish at the moment. And we are expanding into providing low risk, dollar cost average tools into high potential, low market cap projects. So what it is basically you can deploy stable coins that will generate yield, and the yield will then buy into a basket of low cap, high potential projects. So you compound your interest using dollar cost averaging throughout the downturn. And when they come back up, you can take out your yield.
Very interesting. That sounds like a really good idea, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah, and especially if people too busy,
exactly.
especially Japanese people are not even 9 to 5, right? 9 to a midnight kind of situation, right? So those people can just utilize that, then leverage. Say
In
it
the
again.
simplest form, for people who didn't just understand what I said, is let's say your mother is scared of buying Bitcoin, but she saw Bitcoin going up and up and up. Okay. She has $10,000 in her bank account. She connects her bank account to some farm on DAO Maker, just connect the money.
Yeah.
So $10,000 is deployed in some low risk stablecoin farm. So this money is there. And every month it generates like $300 in yield. These yields are then used to buy wrap Bitcoin and be sent to her every month. So as Bitcoin goes down, she buys more and it comes up because the $10,000 is just lying in her account. And the $300 in interest would be interesting. But $300 accumulating in Bitcoin is interesting.
100%. Yeah.
I'll replace Bitcoin, which is a very large cap coin, with something with much more potential, multiple returns, multiple ROI returns. And that's something we're building upcoming.
Wow, I'm super excited about that. And okay, cool. So I guess the time is kind of reaching to the end. Maybe can you? Oh, by the way, what is the best place to get the information about new project, latest update?
Sure, we are starting a YouTube account.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Which is going to give like a video blog, weekly newsletter.
Oh.
So I think that's really how people like to get the information. They just follow us on YouTube. Just watch a 10-minute video once a week.
Yeah. And then also like Twitter is a good place, and you have a blog.
Oh, it's exactly. So our Twitter is the DAO Maker.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm C Zaknam on Twitter.
So I'm gonna put for the viewers, I'm gonna put all the link in the description. So please just go ahead right now and then click it and follow it, right? To close the conversation, first of all, thanks so much for your time and all the information. I think we have clear image of what you have built, but also what's coming as well, right? And maybe just final, closing remarks for the Japanese community.
I guess the best closing remark right now is when the market is currently quite scary.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And maybe many of the viewers are like down a lot and maybe a negative. No matter how bad it is, it's not going to be as bad as 2018, and you're going to get through it.
Yeah, that's a powerful message, especially people from you. So anyway, thanks so much for your time. And I'm excited to have you back on the show and about the updates, because there's so many projects coming up as well. And so please keep in touch. So
thank you so much. I very much enjoyed this interview.
Yeah, thank you.
Cointelegraph. Like, subscribe, and hodl.